The man could hardly believe his eyes. This was supposed to be a lake, known for having no fish. But shortly after the bait hit the water, a powerful pull suddenly came from the fishing line. He steadied himself and pulled the fishing rod with all his strength. A massive bass suddenly leaped out of the water. After a fierce struggle, he finally subdued the giant creature and dragged it onto the shore. But the appearance of this fish was simply too strange. He raised his hand and picked up an axe, ready to finish it off. But seeing the fish full of life, his kindness made him unable to do it. In the end, he carefully removed the hook. Then he released the bass back into the lake. Noah was a soldier. Years ago, he answered his country's call and headed to the battlefield in Europe. But when he returned home after receiving the Purple Heart and leaving the military, he found that his hometown had completely changed. Not only did none of his family come to welcome him, even the old family house had become someone else's home.
This was my home before the war.
We're farming this land now.
I understand. Sorry for the interruption.
Noah calmly accepted everything and turned away. Eventually, he found his father's old friend. Only then did he learn about the tragedy that happened to his family.
We heard you were awarded a Purple Heart. Your mama and daddy would have been real proud.
But for Noah, this long-awaited honor could never be shared with his loved ones. The life and death experiences on the battlefield taught him to suppress his emotions. No matter how great the turmoil was, it seemed unable to shake his numb heart. Later, Noah went to prison to visit his only remaining relative. His younger brother Travis was imprisoned for theft.
You don't understand how hard it was with Mama sick. I had to get out.
His brother's words pierced Noah's heart like a thorn. As an older brother, he failed to care for his parents when they were seriously ill, and failed to guide his younger brother onto the right path. Even at their mother's funeral, his brother attended while wearing handcuffs. An overwhelming sense of guilt consumed him, so he went to the prison warden, hoping to get some mercy for his brother. But all he received was a formal refusal. Although the warden respected him as a war hero, he also made it clear that the law could not be broken.
If I were you, I'd focus on what I was going to do now this war is over.
The warden's words woke Noah up. He truly was trapped in a difficult situation. No family, no friends, and no home. This returning hero had become a homeless wanderer. The wind of his hometown was still warm, but it could no longer guide him home. Among thousands of lights, not a single one was waiting for him. Noah picked up his bag and began another journey of wandering. But this time, he didn't know where the destination was. Noah chose to walk aimlessly along the river. He was an excellent fisherman. This skill allowed him to survive even without any money. One day, while preparing to fish by the river, an old man named Hoke suddenly appeared beside him. The old man was experienced and wise. He immediately recognized that Noah had been on the battlefield. He didn't ask about Noah's past. Instead, he kindly told Noah that the bend in the river nearby was a perfect fishing spot and invited him to go fishing together. The old man said, although Noah looked worn out and alone, there were actually a man and a woman always following beside him, and their descriptions matched Noah's deceased parents exactly. Noah thought the old man was joking and didn't take it seriously. Hoke then explained that 5 years ago, he accidentally gained the ability to see spirits. He could see things ordinary people couldn't.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Neither do I. Only angels.
Hoke knew Noah had never been able to let go of his lost family and comrades. He carried too much sorrow, but he had already done the best he could. He didn't need to blame himself so much. To help Noah escape his grief and confusion, he recommended a place to him. Pointing at the distant ridge, he said, beyond that mountain was a beautiful valley called the Valley of Light. The people there were simple and kind. More importantly, there was a lake in the valley. The locals called it the Fishless Lake, but Hoke insisted that the lake contained the largest mysterious bass he had ever seen. It was a paradise for fishermen. After saying that, Hoke prepared to leave, but Noah couldn't help asking,
You said you see my folks? My mom? My pa? You still see him?
The old man nodded and walked away. But before leaving, he said one last thing.
If you do, you tell him Hoke Moore has been thinking about him a long, long time.
The old man's words stirred something in Noah's heart, so with a doubtful yet curious attitude, he followed Hoke's directions and arrived at the Valley of Light. The sight before him amazed him. A peaceful valley and a crystal-clear lake. It looked like a paradise hidden from the world. Then he walked to the lakeside and instinctively reached his hand into the water. At that moment, a huge bass suddenly leaped out of the water. After drawing a beautiful arc in the air, it sank back into the water.
Old Hawkmoor told me about you. I'll see you later.
Then he saw an apparently abandoned fishing cabin by the lake. Out of respect, he did not enter without permission. Instead, he followed the railway into town to find some work and buy some necessities. The townspeople were indeed as friendly as Hoke had described. The sheriff and villager Howard warmly chatted with him. Learning that Noah was a veteran who survived by fishing, they showed great respect. The sheriff told him that the town would hold a fishing competition in 2 weeks. Noah would have a chance to compete against fishing champion Whitey. If he won, he could receive $20, and Howard directly offered him a job. If Noah could catch enough catfish before sunset and deliver them to his house, he would buy them for 10 cents each. Because his grandson Matthew loved catfish. Although someone warned him that catfish were difficult to catch this season, Noah still happily agreed. Then the sheriff took Noah into the nearby grocery store and introduced him to the owner, Taylor. Noah used his remaining money to buy some necessities. While checking out, he saw Howard's grandson Matthew standing nearby. The playful child performed a little magic trick. He pulled out a coin to make the child smile. This warm and gentle moment was seen by Ellie, who happened to enter the store. The shop owner introduced them to each other. After a brief introduction, they had their first encounter. Ellie was gentle and kind-hearted. When she walked past Noah, the frozen heart of Noah unexpectedly felt a hint of warmth. Before sunset, Noah arrived carrying a bundle of catfish. He delivered them to Howard on time. Howard was amazed by his fishing skills and paid him as promised. He also warmly invited him to visit the village church on Sunday. Everyone in the village welcomed this traveler from afar. However, when night fell, the nightmares of war returned. By the campfire, images of the battlefield kept appearing before Noah's eyes. The sound of gunfire and his comrades' cries kept echoing in his ears. He spent the entire night in a daze, unable to tell whether he was still on the battlefield or back in peaceful life. The shadow of years of war continued to trap his heart. The woman came to the lakeside cabin early in the morning with breakfast. She happily talked about how wonderful last night was, admitting that all her happiness was because of Noah.
But it's you who made me happy.
I'll fix that for you before I go.
These words instantly made Ellie's expression turn gloomy.
I'll see you later, Mr. Locke.
Noah realized that he had said the wrong thing. He quickly called out to Ellie as she turned to leave.
Yes?
I went by your house last night, but you had already headed for bed. I saw your light go out.
Well, I turned my light out, but I didn't go to sleep for a while. What were you going to do if the light had been on?
Well, I would have asked you if I could sit on your porch with you.
And what would we do on the porch? Would we talk? You saying 2 words and me saying 20?
Noah didn't answer with words anymore. Instead, he stepped forward and gently held Ellie's face in his hands. With a deep and sincere kiss, he expressed all the feelings left unspoken. 2 lonely souls redeemed each other and brought warmth to one another in that moment. All the anxiety and darkness were washed away by love. As the fishing competition approached, the town became lively and bustling. The 2 lazy men went around praising Noah's incredible fishing skills, claiming that he could defeat 6-time champion Barry. Just when everything seemed to be moving in a better direction, an unexpected tragedy suddenly struck. Howard hurried anxiously to the grocery store, telling everyone that Matthew had been missing since lunch. All the men in town immediately started searching everywhere. The sheriff even brought police dogs, but they only found traces of Matthew digging for worms by the lake. Because the damp environment near the lake made it impossible for the dogs to track his scent, the search reached a dead end. Noah suddenly felt a sense of dread. He remembered telling Matthew that there was a giant base in the fishless lake. Matthew had most likely gone fishing there alone, so Noah quickly rushed to Fishless Lake to search for him. He searched from night until morning. Eventually, he found Matthew's fishing rod by the lake and saw the scene he feared the most. Overwhelming regret and guilt consumed Noah like a tidal wave. He then told Howard what had happened, his voice trembling as he expressed his guilt. Although the old man was heartbroken, he did not blame him.
It weren't your fault, no. Me and my wife know that. Matthew had a good time knowing you. He's been missing his daddy a lot, awful lot lately. And you gave him something he didn't have.
The old man's forgiveness made Noah suffer even more. He felt like a devil who brought misfortune wherever he went, and had disturbed a peace that never belonged to him. At Matthew's funeral, he only stood far away, not daring to step forward. An overwhelming sadness came over him again. Noah's first instinct was still to run away, so he packed his belongings and decided to leave this heartbreaking place immediately. After hearing the news, Ellie came to try to stop him. In life, everyone will experience regret and loss. All they can do is cherish the present and love sincerely. Noah healed Matthew and gave him the most precious happiness. He had nothing to feel guilty about. Pain and love have always existed together. A life without suffering can never understand true warmth. Running away can never heal the scars within one's heart. Even though Ellie tried everything to convince him, Noah still couldn't forgive himself and insisted on leaving. Ellie then spoke the words that struck directly at his soul.
Maybe if you keep walking, you'll find a valley where no one has ever suffered a broken heart. But I wager to say, that would be a loveless place.
As the fishing competition began as scheduled, the riverbank was packed with townspeople. Barry searched through the crowd for Noah's appearance. Meanwhile, Noah was standing alone beside Fishless Lake. The starting gunshot instantly dragged his thoughts back to the battlefield. That giant bass became the enemy he had to defeat. He poured all his anger, guilt, and regret into the fishing rod, engaging in a thrilling battle against the creature in the water. After a long struggle, the giant bass finally exhausted itself and was pulled onto the shore. Noah raised his axe, ready to end everything, but seeing the bass desperately struggling to survive on the shore, he suddenly realized his actions were meaningless. The fish was only following its nature, so what crime had it committed? In the end, he carefully removed the hook and released the bass back into the lake. When Ellie returned to the cabin, she found that Noah was already gone. Only a short letter was left on the table.
If I trusted, even for a moment, in those signs you believe in, I would have tried to be one for you. Noah.
And so Noah boarded a bus leaving the town, ready to continue his wandering life without a permanent home. But on the bus, Barry recognized him. The two began a friendly conversation. Then Barry mentioned Fishless Lake. He said the cabin's former owner Archie always claimed there was a big fish in the lake, but an old man named Hawk refused to believe him. He took people fishing there all night, yet they caught nothing. He was so angry that he called it a ghost fish. Noah's heart skipped a beat and he quickly asked where Hawk was.
Where'd you meet him?
Met him in Taunton.
Yeah. Hoke died in Taunton. Family had him buried there, even though he lived most of his life here in the valley.
Mr. Moore died?
Yeah. About 5 years ago.
At that moment, Noah suddenly realized the old man who guided him to Moonlight Valley was not an ordinary person at all. He was an angel sent by heaven to guide him. Those seemingly random encounters all carried deeper meanings. He finally believed in the guidance Ellie had spoken of, so he immediately stopped the bus and got off without hesitation, walking toward the direction of the Valley of Light. He also wrote his final letter to his brother.
Travis, for a year I traveled these roads in the hope I could stay a pace ahead of the grief. Here I stopped, was overtaken, and left behind with the certainty that we do have purpose in this world.
Sunlight fell upon the familiar farm road. Noah's steps became more determined with every moment. This time, he was no longer a lost lamb searching for guidance. He was returning to the place filled with both love and pain. To become the light in Ellie's life, the soul that once wandered endlessly had finally found a harbor to rest. Perhaps we have all been Noah, wandering through the wilderness, carrying our own pain while continuing forward, believing that as long as we kept moving forward, we could leave regret and sadness forever behind. We look at the seemingly ordinary lake of life, often complaining about life's unfairness, thinking we are destined to gain nothing. But in reality, the giant base called happiness has always been hidden beneath the water, waiting for us to find the courage to face the storms. Just like the soul-stirring line from the movie, where there is no pain, there can never be love. To embrace warmth, we must first accept loss. To start over, we must first learn how to stop. True redemption is never about finding a utopia without wounds. It is about, after the storm has passed, still daring to piece our broken selves back together. May we all, after seeing the truth of life, still have the courage to believe in miracles.